Hey everybody, Boris. Welcome to the weekly technicals for the commodity dollars for Aussie dollar, dollar CAD, and Kiwi dollar, February 6th to February 10th, 2017. And this is going to be very much the week of the COM dollars. We have the RBA meeting, we have the RBNZ meeting, we have the Canadian employment data. So tremendous amount of data for the COM dollars, and should be interesting and quite market moving. COM dollars have generally been very, very strong last week, especially the Aussie and the Kiwi. Primarily getting a lot of boost from, I think, interest rate plays by the fact that U.S. yields have come down a little bit, and the fact that it doesn't look like the U.S. yields are going up, which makes the carry trade that much more attractive. So we've really sort of stealthily crawled our way to some very, very nice uptrends, and we'll take a look at those in just one second. But basically, looking right now at where the resistance support levels are, we're close. We're close to some major long-term resistance levels, with 78 being the level from last year. 76 now is support. In dollar CAD, we're literally on the break. Sorry, this should be support, should be 130. We're literally on the break of the 130 level right now as we speak. So that's a very, very key tell here. And then with Kiwi dollar, also within striking distance of a long-term overhead resistance at 74. Let's take a look at the charts here and just see how everything shapes up here as the week sets up. So first, let's look at the Aussie. And as I said, Aussie, we have to go look a little bit longer. You can see that we haven't been at 78s really since November, October of last year, and we're moving into this territory. Now, whether the RBA stays neutral or tries to jawbone the currency, what I think is going to be the most interesting thing is not necessarily what the RBA says, but how much of a reaction you see in the marketplace. Because if we see the Aussie sell off temporarily, so let's say the RBA jawbones the currency, we come down to 76s, but don't make any further downside movement, that's a super bullish signal, and it suggests that we really could have a chance here, certainly for 77 to 78 move as the week progresses. We already peaked out, I think, at 77 yesterday. It came back down, so it's really worth trying to buy the dips here to the 76 level. It's a very clean, strong uptrend. Clearly, the market is bullish here on a carry trade basis, and it's one of the cleaner, easier setups as we start the week. On dollar CAD, we're at a very crucial support point of this 130. This 130 is a long term, not just a psychological support level, but just a technical support level from October, November, and even January. We've touched this level about 4 or 5 times. A break to the 130s here really opens up the path all the way out down to the 128. Dollar CAD went from being a buy-only trade to kind of a sell-only trade. We've now, it's been marked by higher lows continuously. You guys know ever since the summer, since I started talking to you, I was very long with dollar CAD the whole time. And every time the lows have been higher. Now we have the exact different dynamic where every time the highs are lower, and that suggests essentially a longer-term downtrend against which you pretty much sell any type of a rally or sell the break. So the break here at 130 certainly puts us in a very interesting position to the downside. And then last but not least, here's the Kiwi. The Kiwi setting up sort of like the Aussie, although there's a little bit more hesitancy here on the Kiwi side. The Kiwi has overhead at the 74s and very strong overhead at the 75s. I think the RBNZ will be more dovish than the RBA because data out of New Zealand is not as positive as it is out of RBA, and the RBNZ has scope for further cuts. So if we're going to set up the week, one of the things that we're going to look at in the crosses is the relative strength trade of Aussie Kiwi. I like that to the upside, just on a fundamental basis. And even on a technical basis, you can see the minor, but nevertheless perceptible weakness in the Kiwi against the Aussie, which sets us up potentially for further weakness as we go along. So Kiwi basically really doesn't have support here till about 72, 71 really strongly. The breakout here, if I'm completely wrong, would be significant if we take out the 74s. Then it really puts the chart in a much more bullish structure. So should be watching all these levels here in the COM dollars, but I still think looking at the charts, let me just sort of go back and forth just to show you. You see this small but very perceptible strength in the Aussie versus the Kiwi. And that is effectively maybe the market making an implied bet that the RBA is going to be more hawkish than the RBNZ, or conversely, RBNZ is just simply going to be more dovish than the RBA. Either way, it could potentially be a very eye-opening trade as the week begins for the commodity dollars. Wish you guys the best luck, the best of trading. Boris, over and out.